Well, Merry Christmas Eve to all here, but we do have to talk about some news, unfortunately. A large crash near my hometown shuts down the interstate between Minneapolis and Madison yesterday. And it's a Christmas miracle because in spite of the fact that there was so much wreckage and so much carnage, and we'll talk about all that, nobody was seriously hurt. As far as we can tell right now, nobody was seriously hurt. But we'll talk a bit about what happened there. Dr. Fauci says that large family gatherings are not advisable right now, whether you're vaxxed or not. So we'll talk just a bit about that, and we'll listen to the Rat Man himself. Kim Potter is convicted of first and second degree manslaughter. We'll talk just a bit about what's going on there and what happened with that. And a couple of white pill news stories here. A couple of people are going home, whether or not they are babies trapped in wreckage or a Utah woman who's missing. We will close out the show with a little bit of happy news, and then we'll hopefully do some prayers and some Bible verse and some live chat here today. It is going to be all this and more. Merry Christmas to all. I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Good morning and welcome to Contemporary. Merry Christmas Eve to all Edheads and all the friends that you guys will be bringing in today. I hope that you guys will bring some more people in for some fellowship here. I have brought the Bible. I have opened to the book of Luke. And once we get through the news, we will look into this and remember what the reason of the season is. Say a prayer. We've got some new music coming off of here, and I'm one of those people where this will be the last time you hear Christmas music coming out of this channel here over on Contemporary. But thank you. Thank you all for coming here. Thank you for spending some of your Christmas Eve morning with me. I will be traveling a little bit later on today, so maybe we'll have some Discord time as well. I'm thinking about, while I'm traveling, doing some Discord. And even when I'm traveling on Sunday, too, that's going to be a longer trip, but doing some Discord there, too. So definitely some opportunity. Come by, say Merry Christmas, and thank you to everybody who came by and chatted with us here. The Discord server is linked in the live chat throughout the program here. But we got to get into it because we actually do still have some news to cover. It's not as crowded as usual, but we got some news to cover here. But before we get started, guys, do make sure you go check out turnsandpagesproductions.com. After the new year, we are going to be setting up a new fundraiser ready to go to see if we can't clear up the other $1,400 to go with that. Thank you everybody for $600 to come and get us get our startup costs going, ready to go here. That's definitely something that's made me happy and helped me come forward and give you guys my dream of making news by the people for the people. Help us make sure that we get the wonderful Bobby Joe paid as well. So definitely go and check that out, bookmark the page, and make sure you guys go check out the Daily Ignoramus, the Breakdown with Birkenhoff, the R8 Conservative, the Freckles and Brit Show, and the Porch Boys. Go check out all of those programs. They're all great friends of the show, great friends of liberty, great friends of freedom, and great friends of the news. So go and check all of them out over there on turnsandpagesproductions.com. All right, we're not going to do industrials today because it's Christmas Eve. Anybody who's recycling stuff today is closed. But we're going to start here looking at the Dow because that did take another fairly good-sized rise yesterday as everybody got in and did their last-minute shopping and their last-minute gifts and stocks and everything else here. The Dow was up to 35,950.56. That is up 196.67 points, or about 0.5% yesterday, year over year. I think the Omicron is starting to, people are looking at this and saying, no. And I think some of what's helping this is the fact that, yes, the Supreme Court is going to be taking up this case. And it was pointed out in, I watched another video on this yesterday, that not only are they taking up this case, because usually when you take up cases like this, there's a big backlog. They're taking this up, and they jumped that one to the front of the line, which tells me that this mandate, 60% is doomed. In this weird timeline, I'm not going to make any predictions off anything solid or anything above 70%, but I would say 60% this thing is doomed. This mandate is done. It's quashed because they jumped that up. They didn't do the procedural thing. The Supreme Court is very wary to take up cases, and not only did they take up the case, but they jumped it to the front of the line. Their oral arguments start on January 7th, so they really, really want to get in and weigh in on this one. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see where that goes. And that could be what's helping to drive the Dow up. On your Bitcoin dropped a little bit overnight from an overnight high of back up to 51,000 US dollars. We're down to 50,976 US dollars and 50 US cents. Over on the Dow, that's up 119 points over yesterday. So good job on the Dow, and those of you who bought the dip, congratulations on what you have. I prefer other cryptos other than Bitcoin, but I know that's the soccer mom one that's going to stay up there. It's going to be the one that people do the ETF in and trading in and everything else, so that's going to be the safe one. That's what we'll see off of that. Grabbing one from IBD real quick, and that's the only finance article I have today is the IBD one, just so we can see a little bit of what happened here and what to expect coming into the weekend. Dow Futures, Santa Claus rally comes early as Tesla surges. These 5 stocks flash buy signals. From Ed Carson. Dow Jones Futures will open Sunday evening, along with S&P 500 Futures and NASDAQ Futures. The stock market rally revived last week, with the S&P 500 nearly at a new high, while a diverse list of leaders flashed buy signals, including AMD stock and Google parent Alphabet. While it may not be everything investors wanted from Santa heading into Christmas holiday, it's a lot better than the lump of coal they were expecting on Monday, December 19th. Tesla was the big winner last week, rebounding powerfully from the top of a prior base to clear its 50-day line, but Tesla stock isn't in a buy range yet. Meanwhile, TradeWeb, Markets, ArcBest, Advanced Micro Devices, West Pharmaceutical, and Google stock are all actionable now. Tesla, Google, AMD, and TW stock are on the IBD leaderboard. Google is on Swing Trader. Google and WST are on the IBD long-term leaders. Google, West Pharma, TradeWeb, and AMD are on the IBD 50. TradeWeb is also the IBD stock of the day, although there's no trading today, so I don't know why there's a stock of the day, but apparently there is. On the futures, Dow Futures open at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, along with S&P 500 and NASDAQ Futures. U.S. stock markets and many exchanges around the world are closed on Christmas Eve. Remember, overnight action in Dow Futures and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular stock market session. Brief, concise, to the point, this is what we have in here. Tesla is going to stop selling a stock, and a lot of the pharmaceuticals are coming back up here. So if that's what you need to see coming up on Monday, definitely go and check all that out and check with your financial advisor for that. Let's get into the news of the day, and we're going to start here with this one here. Nuance Bro tweets this out here. Stop this for just a second. Homeless drug addicts are attacking people on trains in Los Angeles with handheld flamethrowers now. Let's watch. So, well, so as I said before, a can of Aquanet and a Bic hardly constitutes a flamethrower. I mean, I've done that in theory in a video game. I've never actually done that. I don't know how that works actually, but in theory, a can of Aquanet and a Bic lighter doesn't exactly make a flamethrower, but good on the sensationalism, I guess. Alright, let's grab one from The Blaze. In the theme of what we talked about last week, The Blaze has recommended you the best podcast for a Christmas road trip from Blaze TV staff. Spoiler alert, they're all from The Blaze. But once again, we're sitting here, and I'm going to be going on a Christmas road trip. Now, I'll probably be listening to real estate courses while I go, but I'll be going on a Christmas road trip here, possibly shortly after the holidays. But here are what the Blaze thinks are my best podcasts for a Christmas road trip. Are you planning a trip home this Christmas? Give yourself the gift of entertainment. Here are some podcasts that you might have missed to get you through your road trip. These podcasts can be found on The Blaze, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. The Steve Deese Show. National politics, Christian worldview, principled conservatism with a snarky twist. Steve Deese calls it like it is and stands tall when others are afraid. Pat Gray Unleashed. Unique analysis, insight, and fun. Pat Gray pulls no punches with his biting analysis and signature wit, restoring common sense to a senseless world. Stu Does America. Stu Bergerie dissects and debunks leftist propaganda with a lethal blend of wit, wisdom, and mockery. If you're looking for a substantive conservative take on the news of the day that won't bore you, Stu Does America is your new home. Louder with Crowder. We all know who Stephen Crowder is on this channel. Unashamed with Phil and Jace Robertson. The Glenn Beck Podcast. And the news and why it matters. I'm going to revise this list a little bit, because there are better podcasts than the ones that they listened here. If you're looking on a long Christmas road trip, either going today or going home after the weekend or going somewhere that you've never been before after that, here are 5 podcasts you might have missed that you should go and check out. Number 1, Contemporary with J. Edgar. News and politics. Some funny stuff, some serious stuff. And all around, a guy sitting here at his desk at 7 o'clock in the morning tired as fuck because he didn't go to bed until 11 o'clock. Number 2, The Porch Boys. Meme reviews, and people talking over each other. Forming a great friendship together. Number 3, The Daily Ignoramus. Your 3 hours of news and commentary and lifestyle. Every weekday. Go and check them out. Number 4, The R-Rated Conservative. Politics with a twist. Go and check out The R-Rated Conservative. Great guy, great working class kind of commentary, great addition to the Turns and Pages Productions Network. Number 5, The Freckles and Brit Show. Liberty, news, and politics, and commentary, and epic rants. Go and check them out. They are great friends to the program. And lastly, The Breakdown with Birkenhoff. News and commentary from a Gen Z point of view as they are entering into the world and the workforce. Go and check all those out instead of checking out these shameless advertisements for the Blaze. All right. Let's talk about what happened up here. So, reading first from today's TMJ4 out of Milwaukee, even though it's on the complete other side of the state from where this happened. No serious injuries reported after slick roads caused a massive pileup in Jackson County. From Adriana Mendez of TMG4 web staff. Jackson County, Wisconsin. No fatalities or serious injuries were reported after a massive pileup and full interstate closure on I-94 in Jackson County Thursday morning, according to the Wisconsin State Patrol. Traffic on I-94 in Jackson County was shut down in both directions after snowy conditions caused the massive pileup and long backups. According to the DOT, freezing caused icy roadways conditions. The crash involved no fatalities or serious injuries, Wisconsin State Patrol's Northwest Region Eau Claire Post shared in a news release. State Patrol Sergeant Sean Berkowitz told our sister station, WEAU-TV, that multiple crashes in icy conditions closed I-94 from Osseo in Trempealeau County to Northfield and Jackson County. Yeah, I know exactly where this is, too, because I drive on this all the time. And I kind of have an idea what happened, too. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Berkowitz said the vehicles couldn't make it up the hills on that stretch of interstate, causing several vehicles to be stuck. According to WEAU, State Patrol and other first responders also responded to at least 4 more active crashes and 1 semi-fire. A dramatic video shared with us by Mike Olson shows multiple vehicles on fire early this morning as the pileup developed. But that video, for whatever reason, doesn't want to seem to load. What's okay, I have the search tab for that. We'll actually look at some of the video that went with that. Freezing rain caused icy, hazardous road conditions this morning, the Wisconsin State Patrol said on Facebook. WSP is investigating a number of crashes/runoffs between mile markers 37 and 97. That's quite the stretch, too. That's 60 miles, obviously. 40 vehicles were involved in crashes on I-94. State Patrol says that includes the main pileup and other secondary crashes. So that's revised down because at the time they were saying over 100. There is some of the wreckage right there. Look, it just these trailers just folded up. I mean, there's not much to these trailers. Some cars that'll never come back. When crews arrived, they found a semi-unit was in the median on fire with 2 passenger vehicles underneath. According to WEAU, the detour for eastbound traffic is to exit at Highway 10 in Osseo, go south on Highway 53, and eastbound on Highway 121 back to I-94. Yeah, that's about right. Ashley Wenzel was driving across the country to visit family and was 20 minutes away from her home in Black River when they came upon the crashes. It was black ice, glare ice, and just a skating rink, said Wenzel. She said they made the decision to jump the median because they were afraid the flames would come closer to their vehicle. We were nervous and scared, said Wenzel. Alright, and let's look at just some of the other tweets that went with this, too. There are, like we saw close up, the pictures there. That is a Freightliner that's never going to be the same. And somebody's steer axle underneath him. Probably that medium duty right there. Just look at the wreckage. I actually have to wonder if they're still going to be cleaning that up later on today. Oh, there's a video here. There's some more just awful wreckage. That's the storm that caused it all. I never touched here either, by the way. The Hickston Fire Department said 50 vehicles were involved in crashes, and 4 vehicles, 2 semis and 2 cars, caught on fire. This was the first video that I saw of it. Here's a video from a viewer who tells News 18 he's been stuck in the pileup for over an hour. He says he's located 7 miles south of Osseo in the northbound lane. And this is a cell phone video of the actual moments right as this started to happen. So this one's a little bit graphic. I mean, there's no blood and gore, but... And you see it light up like that. And nobody was hurt. That is the best part of this. That is amazing. Nobody was hurt. So that's what we see coming off of that. That's pretty incredible. That's pretty amazing that everybody came out of all the carnage that we saw with that with nobody getting hurt. I'm pretty happy to see that. I am pretty pumped to see that. That is a good thing. So And I mean, when we get there too, I mean, when you get about to the point from the mile markers that they're saying, what I'm guessing happened is with the freezing rain and everything that came through there in the black ice, there is a pretty significant hill right before you get to Osseo, and it's about 7 miles south of Osseo. I've driven on it numerous times in my old trucks before I bought the '01 with the beefed up 5.4 in it. But in, like the old trucks, like the 2000 with the 5.4 in it, and the 97 with the 4.6 in it, and all the older vehicles, that going up that hill, even on the interstate at interstate speed, usually causes you downshift out of overdrive. Now, the white truck doesn't do that anymore. That'll take that hill in sixth gear at 80 miles an hour with no problem. But that's a pretty significant hill, and I've got to think, and I don't know if I've ever driven a semi up there. I don't think I have, but I got to think that you're at least coming out of 10th gear going up there, just because of the sheer. It's a 5% grade hill. So then once they start slipping, they can't get back up. They start rolling backwards. One car leads into another. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, and then you got a bunch of cars on fire. So pretty crazy stuff. All right. Let's grab one here. Let's throw some music back up here. Let's grab one from Reuters for you. Large holiday gatherings in U.S. not safe, even if boosted, Fauci says. Hey, we're back into the game of Fauci says, aren't we? Americans vaccinated and boosted against the pinko fucking pox can be with family over the holidays, but attending large gatherings is not safe. Even for those who receive a booster dose, top U.S. infectious disease expert St. Anthony of Fauci, the patron saint of medicine, said on Wednesday. The U.S. faces a second Christmas of upended holiday plans with a surge in infections fueled by the now dominant Omicron variant of the coronavirus, forcing many to cancel travel, reconsider visiting loved ones, and question attending holiday parties. There are many of these parties that have 30, 40, 50 people in which you do not know the vaccination status. Oh, that's Fauci. There are many of these parties that have 30, 40, 50 people in which you do not know the vaccination status of individuals. Those are the kinds of functions in the context of Omicron that you do not want to go to, Fauci said at the White House briefing. Early evidence indicates Omicron is less severe than the Delta variant, said Fauci, citing studies from South Africa and Scotland, but warned Americans must remain cautious. This is good news. However, we must wait to see what happens in our own populations, which has its own demographic considerations. Let's actually listen to the Rat Man himself. That's this one. I got him backwards.
Now, one of the questions that Dr. Walensky and I and Dr. Murthy and others get asked very frequently is that right now, as we get to the Christmas holiday and the New Year's, would it be safe for individuals who are vaccinated, who are boosted, to get together with family in the setting of the home? The answer to that is yes. An extra level of protection would be the testing that Dr. Walensky measured. But I want to make sure this is not confused with going to a large gathering. And there are many of these parties that have 30, 40, 50 people in which you do not know the vaccination status of individuals. Those are the kind of functions in the context of COVID, and particularly in the context of Omicron, that you do not want to go to. So to the extent possible, we urge you to stay away from those situations that could put you at a higher risk.
I'll tell you what, St. Anthony. I'll tell you what. You resign, and I'll consider some of the things that you say. I won't do them, but I'll consider them. I will begin to consider whether or not I want to go to church, or a gathering, or a party, or a bar. Omicron! All right. More White House news here. Jill and Joe invited singing nurses to perform in the East Room. Let's watch.
The tree before my spirit falls again. Fill up the stockings. I might be rushing things, but deck the halls again now. For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinning. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It hasn't snowed a single flurry, but Santa dear, we're in a hurry. So climb down the chimney, put up the brightest string of lights I've ever seen. Slice up the fruitcake, it's time we hung some tinsel on that evergreen light. For I've grown a little leaner, grown a little colder, grown a little sadder, grown a little older, and I need a little angel sitting on my shoulder. We need a little Christmas now. Haul out the holly, haven't I taught you well to live each living day? Fill up the stocking, but Auntie May, it's 1 week past Thanksgiving Day now. But we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinning. Yes, we
So I have questions. Now, why are the ones that are the lead singing like that? Why are they not masked? You're in a room with the highly contagious Omicron variant with an 80-year-old dementia patient who most likely has a compromised immune system. I mean, if this is a big thing. Plus, you're indoors in Washington D.C. on top of it. You know, don't they know that there's a mandate for indoors? Did they swipe their Vax Pass? What? Oh wait, no, these ones are heroes. These are the ones that are getting canned left and right for the front line. Hold up. Conversations like this can be intense. Don't forget the human behind the screen. The virtue signal never stops, folks. Alright, now we gotta actually talk about some real news, unfortunately. I put it off as much as I could. Kim Potter trial. Minneapolis jury finds ex-police officer guilty in death of Dante Wright. From Danielle Wallace, Stephanie Pagones of Fox News. The jury has found former Minneapolis area police officer Kim Potter guilty of first and second degree manslaughter charges in the April 2021 death of Dante Wright. Once again, I'm going to go back to the beginning of when I first started talking about this and say I'm actually a little bit surprised this went to trial, because I thought she had pleaded guilty. Potter, 49, pays a maximum of 15 for the first degree manslaughter charge, while the second carries a maximum of 10. Regina Chu ordered Potter to be taken into custody and held without bail. She also praised the jurors as, oh my god, heroes of the judicial system. The judge rejected a request from the defense team that Potter be allowed to remain out on a $100,000 bail before sentencing. They argued that it's Christmas season and Potter is a devout Catholic, but prosecutors noted that Potter's family had moved out of state. The jury, comprised of 6 men and 6 women, had spent over 27 hours deliberating. Outside the courtroom, staff elsewhere in the Hennepin County Government Center were instructed to stop work and exit the building before the decision was read aloud, deciding Potter's fate. The entire Minneapolis courthouse was to be cleared before the outcome was announced for security measures. Kim Potter's husband yelled out, "I love you, Kim," as she was taken into custody, and Potter said it back. Minnesota AG Keith Ellison said outside the courthouse that we have a degree of accountability for Dante's death, but that he also felt for Potter. She's going from being an esteemed member of the community to an honored member of a noble profession to being convicted of a serious crime that I just convicted for political purposes, Ellison said. I don't wish that on anyone, except for people who politically aren't like me. People who would actually wear the badge, because I need votes in Minnesota, you guys. But it was our responsibility as the persecutor and ministers of justice. Oh my God, if you think yourself a minister, then this country is lost. To pursue justice wherever it led, and the jury found the facts. Potter had 26 years of experience as a police officer on April 11th when she says she mistook her handgun for a taser and fatally wounded 20-year-old Wright. The 26-year-old police veteran and other officers, including a trainee, were attempting to arrest Wright when he tried to get back into his vehicle, video shows. The officers had attempted to stop Wright and then tried to detain him from learning of a warrant for his, or after learning of a warrant for his arrest. Wright can be seen in a police video climbing back into the driver's seat of a vehicle as the officers scuffle with him. In Potter's body cam footage from the shooting, she can be heard yelling, "I'll tase you," and then "taser, taser, taser" before firing her handgun. She can then be heard saying, "I grabbed the wrong fucking gun," followed by, "Holy shit, I just shot him." Now, there are a lot of different details to this. I don't know that the first degree man fit. I think the second degree did. But I also think that this, as of Hennepin County, is the fact that the juries will come and bring forward literally, they'll have any charges brought before them if it's against a cop, and then it'll just say guilty, guilty, guilty. I'm a little bit surprised it took this long. I'm not going to lie. I think the second degree fit. I don't think that was an overcharge. I think first degree was overcharge. I think that she should have just gone in, pled guilty to second degree, sat down for 10 years, thought about what she did. I think that's how this all should have gone. But I know that, I'm sure that there was a defense lawyer out there that's like, "I'm going to cut my teeth and I'm going to get famous up on TV." And then Ellison just doing this for political favors. No, and on this point, I'm not going to do the 19th or anything because if this would have been a guy, this would have been the same situation. I'll drop that down a little bit. As far as, and the reason that I think that second degree fits off of this, given the situation, I don't think that there is a jury in the country. I don't think that there's a police inspector in the country that would have looked at this if she'd have pulled her gun without intending to tase and shot the kid. He's out on a weapons charge, trying to get back into a vehicle which might have had a weapon in it. And in fact, the fact that the point in this, where I think that second degree fits, is that she felt that her life wasn't in enough danger that she could attempt for a non-lethal, and then was actually pulled the wrong device. But in any other situation, given what we know about Wright, what we know about sitting there, I would have called lethal force justified. So, 27 hours deliberation though, my God. 4 days they took to do this. But this, Regina Chu, "The jurors are heroes of the judicial system because they put an evil cop away in Hennepin County." Dude, I don't know how there are still cops in Hennepin County. I don't. Unless they're correct ones up on the take that won't ever get investigated for anything like this. I wouldn't want to go there. I can't do anything. I can't do my job without coming in every day and thinking, is this the day that I get arrested? Is this the day that I get picked up? I have no idea, but yeah, that's what we see off that. From the New York Times, a former newspaper. Texas board withdraws clemency recommendation for George Floyd. This is an interesting case because I think the lead part of this is they're trying to get a posthumous pardon for the guy because, well, they want the right wing to stop calling him a criminal. All right. This is from Michael Levinson and J. David Goodman over at the New York Times, a former newspaper. The Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles has withdrawn a recommendation that St. George be granted a posthumous pardon for a 2004 drug conviction in Houston, citing procedural errors in the recommendation. The Board of Pardons and Paroles has withdrawn 25 clemency recommendations that contain procedural errors and lack of compliance with board rules. Renee Ease, a spokeswoman for Governor Greg Abbott, said in a statement. The board will review and resolve procedural errors and issues related to any pending applications in compliance with their rules, Ms. Ease said. As a result, the board's withdrawal of the recommendation concerning Floyd Abbott did not have the opportunity to consider it. Ms. Ease said that Mr. Abbott will review all recommendations that the board submits for consideration. The withdrawal was announced on Thursday in a statement in which the governor's office said that Abbott had granted clemency to 8 Texans, part of an annual tradition of approving such recommendations. The question of whether to issue a pardon for St. George had put Mr. Abbott, a Republican, in a tough spot politically. Debates over policing have grown increasingly contentious and partisan since Mr. Floyd's death in police custody in Minneapolis on May 25, 2020 was captured on video and viewed by millions, galvanizing support for reforms. Allison Mathis, a Harris County public offender who applied for the pardon for Mr. Floyd, told the Dallas Morning News that the withdrawal smacks something untoward. She said she had not been informed of anything was wrong with the application. Abbott and his appointees have let their politics triumph over the right thing to do, Ms. Mathis told the Morning News. So, as far as the drug thing goes, first off, given the fact that he's dead, I don't know what this does except for serve a political purpose. In fact, bringing the thing forward does nothing but serve political purposes. So, Mathis, Miss Mathis, you don't really have a leg to stand on here. I'm sorry. Because the fact that this was brought forward. Now, if this was getting somebody out of prison for smoking a fucking joint or having a little bit of coke on him or something like that, yeah, I'd be all for this. I'd say, hey, what the fuck? Go look at this application again and get this guy a pardon. And we're not talking about the point the gun at the pregnant woman's belly charge either. We're talking about the drug charge. But no, for the fact that he's already dead, just so you can come out and say, hey, look, we pardoned this guy, so now you can't go back and call him a criminal. What a waste of time. From NBC5 Chicago. COVID spike, unlikely to shut down CPS, but could lead to more remote classes, officials say. No author given. Chicago Public Schools. Families should prepare for more remote learning in January as the pinko pox cases surge this winter. But the entire district is unlikely to shut down, schools chief Pedro Martinez said on Wednesday. The district's 330,000 students started their 2-week winter break this week as the new Omicron variant takes hold in the city and the rest of the country. Before classes wrapped for 2021 last week, CPS was seeing its highest case rates of the year in a post-Thanksgiving wave. I want to be clear, our plans are to have our schools open on January 3rd. Our plans are to welcome children for in-person instruction, Martinez said at a City Hall news conference with Mayor Leibt and City Health Commissioner Dr. Allison Arwady. But I need your help. I need the help of our families. We've been trying to make sure that we ensure as much as we can and that we have a safe opening back after break. The latest spread as the city heads into the new year has called a newfound concern among families and educators and led Leibt to issue vaccine requirement for most indoor public spaces on Tuesday. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're out there. The CPS is buying, I think the last figure was 100,000 laptops so they can send people out for remote learning. So, yeah, they're going to shut the city down again. Oh, there's still going to be school. It's just going to be remote. Let's listen to the red-haired bobblehead. Biden is prepared to support changes to the filibuster if that's the only thing standing in the way of getting voting rights legislation done.
The president has spoken to his strong view that getting voting rights legislation passed is a fundamental priority for him. It's something that is essential so that people across the country are able to exercise their right to vote, to participate in the democratic process. That's something he has always believed, always been committed to. As he said in his answer last night, we may not have to go to that, but he is prepared to support changes if that's the only thing standing in the way of getting. The president has spoken to his.
Change the filibuster. Get the voting rights legislation done. Honk, honk. Honk, honk forever. They're going to honk, honk it until the honk, honk cannot be honked anymore. So, and I mean, one of the things that goes with that, too, it's they're looking at the voting rights legislations that are being passed across the country. And what does the Freedom to Vote Act do? For the most part, the big kicker off of this is it outlaws voter ID across the country, which is unconstitutional. There are a few other provisions in there that I think that even some of the most ardent voting privilege places have. But Matt, MBS59er, over on Twitter, points out correctly, voting has never been a right. It's not a right. It is a privilege afforded to you by the government. Voting has never and will never be a right. And you really should have some skin in the game before you go and vote for your own self-interest at this point. Biden's popularity sinking in the White House as unhappy staffers plan post-holiday exit. Report from Andrew Mark Miller over at Fox News. Morale among staffers is reportedly low in President Biden's White House in his first year in office comes to a close, and polls show his popularity underwater with the majority of Americans. According to a Politico report late Wednesday, White House staffers are unhappy with their jobs to the point where they anonymously leaked to online publications in hopes that senior staffers would be alerted to the lack of camaraderie and overall happiness with the workplace. A lot of the natural coordination that happens in a typically functioning White House has been lost, and there has been no proactive effort to make up for it through intentional team building, one White House official said. Staffers say they have struggled with virtual events, and some staffers have complained that those who are outsiders to Biden's inside circle and network are often left out. Additionally, staffers say they've been left out of certain events, while staffers from around the Capitol are invited in their stead due to a lottery system used to decide who comes to certain gatherings. It's also hypocritical and ironic that a president whose brand is built on empathy and family has staff policies that fly in the face of that brand, one staffer said. It's not a good look, and it's emblematic of how this place runs. Many of the staffers said they're in the process of updating their resumes and will start looking for new jobs next year once the president officially hits his one-year anniversary in office. Staffers in President Harris's office have already started heading for the exits, including her comms director, Ashley Etienne, and senior advisor Simone Sanders, with several others reportedly planning to follow suit. Well, yeah, Simone Sanders tried to stop a Comedy Central broadcast with the vice president, with Charlemagne the God. We heard that last week. The unrest in the White House comes as Biden and Harris continue to be dogged by low polling numbers as Americans grapple with record inflation, soaring gas prices, supply chain issues, the Omicron variant of the coronavirus, the ongoing border crisis, and the rising international tensions with Russia and China. The president stood at 43% approval and 51% disapproval in an NPR Marist national survey released earlier this month, and a separate poll from Monmouth indicated 40% approval and 50% disapproval. Some polls show Biden's approval rating even lower. Harris fares even worse, according to polling last month that showed her with a 28% approval rating. Yeah, nobody liked her. That's the reason that she got honked into the vice presidential role. But that's what we have for that. From CT Post, Connecticut Post. Connecticut man ordered a passport holder on Amazon. It arrived with a fake COVID vaccine card, officials said. From Peter Yankowski. A North Stanford man recently placed an order through Amazon for a case to hold his passport and Pox jab card. But when the case arrived, he found the packaging contained something he didn't order. A copy of a Pox vaccination record card. The small card with the logo of the CDC was blank and obviously fake. It's even a little bigger than the real card, the man, whose name was not released by officials, told AG William Tong's office. Oh, they're gonna recommend this for criminal charges? A spokesperson for Amazon said the company does not allow the products in question in our store. We have proactive measures in place to prevent prohibited products from being listed, and we continuously monitor our store and take swift action on bad actors that attempt to evade our systems, the statement said. Officials say the incident highlights the pitfalls around paper COVID vaccination records, which can be damaged, destroyed, or lost, and in some cases have been reported stolen, among other items in Connecticut. Governor Ned Lamont's office has rolled out a digital vaccine card that allows users to save a record of their vaccinations on their phone. The tool also offers users a QR code that can be scanned at locations requiring proof of vaccination. But my phone got stolen! Lamont's office also noted the system makes forging the cards more difficult. The digital vaccination card does one thing. It provides Connecticut residents with an alternative option to the paper card they received when they were vaccinated, Lamont said in a statement Monday. If you don't want to carry your paper card with you in your pocket, or if you lost your card, you can digitally load it on your smartphone. Take the chip! Take the chip in your right hand! So that you can buy and sell. Like, seriously, Democrats, if you want us to stop comparing this thing to Revelation, then stop doing things that sound fucking similar to Revelation. And I know where they're moving with this too. They're trying to move out of the cards right now. That's part of the reason that this came up here. Oh no, I found a fake vaccine card in my passport holder when I bought it from Amazon. Oh, well, I better get the digital one, because otherwise somebody might be able to, they might be able to make a fake vaccine card. They might be able to get into places unvaccinated. And remember, you should never ever use a falsified vaccination card. And you should never alter the logo on your vaccination card just slightly so you're not violating federal law by using a federally trademarked emblem. You should never, ever, 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 ever do that. That would be bad and illegal and wrong. And you should never do a thing like that. And you should never just throw a name of a doctor in there that nobody's going to check, or a date. You should never do a thing like that. Far Left Jewish Magazine apologizes to their readers for running an advertisement for a free trip to Israel. From Leon Wolf. Jewish Currents, which advertises itself as a magazine committed to the rich tradition of thought, activism, and culture of the Jewish left, and which proudly declares on its website that it was launched within the orbit of the American Communist Party, raised eyebrows on Twitter Thursday when they apologized to their readers. I want to see how many anti-Semitic emojis my friend Midget B can find, so I'm going to post this in the Discord after I'm done here. He might find some new ones that I've never heard of or seen before. Jewish Currents tweets out an apology to our readers. Let's blow this up. Dear readers, yesterday we released an ad without proper vetting. For free, all expenses paid. You're in Israel. This ad is not in line with our values as an organization dedicated to reporting on and opposing Israeli human rights abuses. We are returning the money that we received from this ad and will immediately begin a critical evaluation of our ad processes and policies. We will publish in full the resulting advertising guidelines on our website. We apologize for this error and undermining our readers' trust. Thank you for understanding and patience with us. Jewish Currents. So, let me get this straight. You're Jewish. Practicing, I'm assuming. You're practicing Jewish. And yet, your readers, the people who read your magazine as practicing Jewish people, consider a trip to Israel as the most offensive thing that you could find. What? I have no words for this. I don't. According to the Atlantic's Yair Rosenberg, the ad in question was for a fellowship at the Durot Foundation, a 10-month training program in Israel for American Jews. The foundation is known for supporting progressive causes and describes itself on its website as an organization that supports progressive social change. I have no words. I don't. Okay. Let's listen to Rogan, which I might listen to this while I'm on the road at some point. Because I like Rogan. I enjoy his commentary, if he's got a good guest on. I don't like him... Like, I can't sit down and listen to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience like Mackenzie can. I can't do that. But if he's got a good guest on that I really like, I do enjoy listening to talk. The Joe Rogan-Ron White interview was amazing. That was awesome. That was so cool. To hear another side of Ron White, who's probably one of my favorite comics. And it's a little bit sad that he's retiring now, because I never got to see him. I never got to see him live. I'd love to hang out with that guy, just me and Ron White. Smoking cigars. I know he doesn't drink anymore. Which is weird to think about from Ron White, but to smoke a cigar with Ron White, I'd love to do that. But let's listen to this. Masks are like the Democrats. Masks are like the Democrats' MAGA hat. Joe Rogan reacts to the news that masks are an environmental hazard. Podcast giant Joe Rogan said Wednesday that face masks were like the Democrat version of the former president's signature red hat. Rogan delivered the offhand remark after learning that face masks, which are still mandated in a number of areas across the U.S., take longer to biodegrade in landfills than a styrofoam cup. Let's listen.
All right, this is almost crazier. Styrofoam cup takes 50 years to biodegrade. How long do you think a mask takes?
150.
450.
Oh my God.
It's messed up to think that.
Masks are like the Democrats' MAGA hat.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't go over well. Rogan added that masks are like the Democrats' MAGA hat. You wear it to make people feel comfortable. I know it's illogical, and I'm fine wearing it if it relaxes people. And it just makes them feel better. But if people want to argue that they do something, it just doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. Rogan also made it clear that he wasn't certain masks even worked, adding, I don't even know if they even work, man. I don't think they do. I mean, maybe they stop spittle from getting on someone. If you can get your finger into the side of it, the air is coming out. I just feel like it's one of those things that we accepted early on, and now we're just pretending it's somehow or another protective, Rogan continued. But at the end of the day, it's really just a piece of paper over your mouth, and you're breathing perfectly through it. So, like, how does that work? Yeah, pretty much. I can't believe that thing takes 450. First off, how do you know that? How have you done a test for 450 years to see if a cloth paper mask biodegrades? And I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way. I'm definitely not saying you're wrong, but I don't see where that would take 450 years either. Because paper breaks down pretty quick, and I think cloth does too, actually. But hey, that's the expert. Who might argue with the expert, right? And even if it only takes like 20 years, that's still 20 years that thing is sitting in a landfill. From CNN Health. This was funny. Don't weigh me. Cards aim to reduce stress at the doctor's office. From Allegra Goodwin. A Body Pause website has created a free Don't Weigh Me cards for patients who find stepping on the scale at the doctor's office stressful. The cards, created by California-based morelove.org, are available for free to individuals, excluding the cost of postage. There's also an option for businesses to purchase the cards at $35 per 100 cards. The card reads, "Please don't weigh me unless it's really medically necessary," adding, "If you really need my weight, please tell me why so I can give you my informed consent, as shown in photographs on morelove.org. On the other side of the card is a list of reasons why it may not be medically necessary to weigh a patient. Most health conditions can be addressed without knowing my weight is one reason, and I pursue healthy behaviors regardless of my weight status is another. Here's what it says. Why? Because most health conditions can be addressed without knowing my weight. When you focus on my weight, I get stressed, and that's not healthy. Weighing me every time I come in for an appointment and talking about my weight like it's a problem perpetuates weight stigma, a known and serious health risk. I pursue healthy behaviors regardless of my weight status. See healthy at every size. A Spanish language version of the card is also available. Morelove.org was founded in 2016 by Ginny Jones according to its website, and describes itself as an online resource that empowers parents to raise kids who are free from body hate, disordered eating, and eating disorders. The group supports a health at every size philosophy based around the assumption that the current practice of linking weight to health system using BMI standards is biased and unhealthful. Or you're just fat. Because we live in a fat-phobic society, being weighed and talking about weight causes feelings of stress and shame. The website states, many people feel anxiety about seeing the doctor and will avoid going to the doctor in order to avoid the scale. We want you to be supported in requesting healthcare that's free of weight bias, the website reads. The point is that it's an informed choice that we get to make. We don't have to step on the scale just because someone tells us to. Well, yeah, there's that, but there's also the fact that, you know, a few months ago, I was 250, or goddamn close to it, in a situation that I can tell you was not healthy for me. Heartburn every night, barely able to sleep, pants not fitting, winded going up the stairs, legs ache going up the stairs, unable to stretch, unable to do most anything else that involved out of my work. And I'm not perfect, and I've been eating like crap for the last week. But I'm still, you know, at that little 220 mark, trying to get down there a little bit more. Trying to clear it all off and get back to having abs again. I can probably do that again. But yeah, like Nephilim said, if you ordered these cards, it's probably medically important. RNC is still doing this stuff. This image. Please keep this box checked if you pledge another donation on 12/31. If you uncheck this box, you'll make Nancy Pelosi's dreams come true. We need all hands on deck to help us crush our end-of-year goal and prove to Nancy and the Democrats where America truly stands. If you're happy with Biden putting America last, uncheck this box. But if you want to put America first, we need your support. The boomer outrage. Every time. From the Blaze. Stop tech censorship. Fox's Jesse Waters flattens the clown, Dr. Anthony Fauci, after Fauci called for his firing over more than clear metaphor. Report from Sarah Taylor. Fox News host Jesse Waters apparently refuses to back down after Dr. Fauci called for the network to fire him over what he insisted were dangerous, inflammatory remarks about approaching the good doctor about gain-of-function research and COVID-19 origins. Waters on Monday made a speech at the TPUSA conference in which he said Americans should have no reservations about approaching Fauci in public and filming the interaction while pelting him with hard-hitting questions. He said, "The kill shot with an ambush. Deadly, because he doesn't see it coming. This is when you say, Dr. Fauci, you funded research at the sloppy Chinese lab. The same thing that sprung this pandemic on the world. You know why people don't trust you, don't you? Boom, he is dead. He is dead, he is done." You do that, 30 seconds is all you need. Now you get that footage to us, you get it to Fox. Imagine Tucker Carlson teases that, Waters added. In response to the remarks, a furious Fauci said that Fox should immediately terminate Waters from the network. "This guy should be fired on the spot," he told CNN's John Berman. Waters blasted Fauci on Tuesday, Newsweek reports, saying that he and outgoing National Institutes of Health President Francis Collins are clowns for their botched response to the coronavirus pandemic, as well as funding dangerous experiments and gain-of-function research. So, yeah, they're fighting back and forth out of each other, and, well, Jesse Waters is trying to get himself canceled, apparently. From the Daily Mail. Public School District in Michigan offers a 21-day equity and challenge that includes white privilege checklists and culminates with a call to join BLM or affiliated protest and a list of microaggressions to avoid, including calling America the land of opportunity. Do you know how I'm microaggressed? All this globalism is microaggressing me. What the fuck link did he put out here? Oh, it's the dots between I shit you not. I see what it was. Sorry, the Nightbot mistook that as a link. Sorry, 80s kid. I can repost it for you, though. Because they won't ding me for it. From Harriet Alexander for DailyMail.com. A public school in Michigan has encouraged its staff to participate in a 21-day equity challenge exploring themes such as identity and intersectionality, race and class privilege, implicit bias, and microaggressions. Participants were told that telling a student America is the land of opportunity is a microaggression that minimizes their concerns about having a successful future, according to Farmington Public Schools documentation on its website. They were warned that asking people to say words in their native language was another microaggression, singling them out to be exotic. Those on the course were asked to tick boxes about their identity and white privilege. They were also encouraged to attend BLM marches, support black businesses, and assess racism in their own workplaces. The voluntary course began November 1st with 21 days of different topics, based on the theory it takes 21 days to form a habit. They were provided worksheets and reading materials and were encouraged to participate in discussion groups. Among the articles was a 2017 feature that pointed out black children in Michigan were fare worse in education than any other state. Alicia Guevara Warren with the Michigan League of Public Policy told NPR at the time, "We have to really target our sources and our policies in a way that's going to start eliminating racial disparities because Michigan will be the much stronger state when we take care of all of our kids and not leave anyone behind." Day 4 of the plan, for instance, was titled Identity and Intersectionality. The staff was asked to consider social identity group examples such as gender expression, feminine, androgynous, masculine, gender, queer, fluid, and gender nonconforming. On day 6, participants would read 10 things everyone should know about race, stressing that race is a modern idea with no genetic basis. What? Like, what? Colorblindness will not end racism. Pretending race doesn't exist is not the same thing as creating equality, the document states. Okay, it's a modern idea, but pretending it doesn't exist will not create equality. What? And here's the daily content for all 3 weeks. Day 1, Farmington Hills history. Day 2, Indigenous people. Day 3, equity and equality. Day 4, identity and intersectionality. Day 5, weekly wondering and reflection. Day 6, racial identity. Day 7, race and class privilege. Day 8, Black African American perspectives. Day 9, Asian Arab American perspectives. Day 10, Hispanic Latino perspectives. Day 11, wealth inequality. Day 12, weekly wondering and reflection. Day 13, gender and sexuality. Day 14, ableism. Day 15, English language learner perspectives. Day 16, gender equality. Day 17, implicit bias. Day 18, microaggressions. Day 19, weekly wondering and reflection. Day 20, religious diversity. Day 21, time for some action. Microaggressions were defined as stating men and women have equal opportunities and declaring America is the land of opportunity. You know what's microaggressing to me? And this microaggressions chart is just wow. Myth and meritocracy. Statements that assert that race or gender does not play a role in life successes, for example, issues like faculty demographics. I believe the most qualified person should get the job. Of course, he'll get tenure, even though he hasn't published much. He's black. Men and women have equal opportunities for achievement. Gender plays no part in who we hire. America is the land of opportunity. Everyone can succeed in this society if they work hard enough. Affirmative action is racist. People of color are given extra unfair benefits because of their race. The playing field is even. Even so, if women cannot make it, the problem is with them. People of color are lazy and are incompetent. They need to work harder. You know what's microaggressing me? What's microaggressing me is all this globalism creeping in with our kids, trying to invade every part of our lives. That's what's the microaggression to me. I am microaggressed upon. I demand that this program be taken down. And the dirty globalists that are trying to turn a race war against us so they can control us easier be taken out and tarred and feathered in the fucking square. Because I'm microaggressed upon. Alright. From the Blaze, woman says she was virtually groped in Facebook's VR metaverse. Investigation is launched. I knew it was coming, I just didn't think it was coming this fucking quick. From Paul Saka. A woman claims she was virtually groped in a virtual reality world and an investigation has been launched. A female believes she was the victim of sexual harassment while testing out a virtual world from Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook. The alleged victim was a beta tester in the VR platform Horizon Worlds, a social experience where you can explore, play, and create. The virtual world allows users to design worlds of your own or get to know other members of the community and be inspired by their creations. The virtual reality metaverse offers interactive puzzles and action-packed games. The woman claimed that she was virtually groped during the testing period on November 26th. Tech blog The Verge was the first to report the incident, Safety is a big concern for the VR environment like Horizon Worlds, where you can easily interact with someone you don't know. Earlier this month, a beta tester posted in the official Horizon group on Facebook about how her avatar was groped by a stranger. Sexual harassment is no joke on the regular internet, but being in VR adds another layer that makes the event more intense, she wrote. Not only was I groped last night, but there were other people there who supported the behavior, which made me feel isolated in the plaza. Following the woman's allegation that she was virtually groped, Meta launched an investigation into the incident. The company, formerly known as Facebook, determined that the tester did not activate a safety feature designed to prevent harassment on the platform. What? Like, what? Vivek Sharma, Meta's vice president of Horizon, called the incident absolutely unfortunate and admitted the tech company needs to work on making safety blocking feature trivially easy and findable. The Safe Zone option allows users who feel threatened to press the blue shield button that takes you to the safe zone where you can escape and take a break. What? Like, what? No. 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 If you're going to go into Ready Player One, you're probably going to have to be prepared to get felt up by a bunch of Indian dudes. I'm sorry. You look how hard they try to get your bobs and vagine in DMs on Twitter. Now add the virtual reality aspect to that. From MarketWatch. California sues Walmart over illegal dumping of hazardous waste. This is what needs to be done about this. I know the federal government, we need to come out and have a federal law that prevents you from doing this and that and the next thing, but you can buy a carbon tax credit. And if you get caught with it, you only pay a fine. No. And I hate the fact that it's the government suing, but still. Settle this in civil court. We don't need to have a criminal court for any of this. From the Associated Press. Retail giant Walmart illegally dumps more than 1 million batteries, aerosol cans of insect killer, and other products, toxic cleaning supplies, electronic waste, latex paints, and other hazardous materials into California landfills each year. State prosecutors alleged Monday in a lawsuit that the company labeled unjustified. As we shop the brightly packed aisles, there are products that will never make it onto the cart, returned, damaged, or pulled from the shelves for a variety of reasons, said California AG Rob Bonta. When a big box store disposes of unwanted goods, just like the rest of us, they need to do so properly. Unfortunately, Walmart, the largest company in the world by revenue, has failed to do that on a grand scale here in California. The AG's office settled a previous similar lawsuit in 2010, which Walmart, which operates more than 300 stores in California, paid $25 million and agreed to stop the dumping in local landfills that are not equipped to contain hazardous products. Yeah, who would have thought that Walmart would do something else like that? It paid $1.25 million to Missouri in 2012 to settle a similar lawsuit. And in 2013, the company pleaded guilty to 6 federal misdemeanors of negligently discharging a pollutant into drains in 16 California counties, part of an $81 million deal that had also included the charge in Missouri. Spokesman Randy Hargrove said Walmart will fight the unjustified lawsuit filed on Monday. The state is demanding a level of compliance regarding waste disposal from our stores of common household products and other items that goes beyond what's required by law, Hargrove said. He said a judge was ready to sign off in 2018 on Walmart's compliance under the 2010 settlement until the Attorney General's office started a new investigation with new rules in a bid to force a new settlement. Yeah, that's the thing. And we all have to dispose of our things properly, and we go to jail if we don't. But that's how this should be done. Maybe not from the state and the AG's office, of course, but, you know, the NIMBYists who don't want anything off in their backyards, sue the fuck out of them. Let them get up there and make the lawsuit off of it. Alright, this one was brought to my attention from Rachel over on Monday on the Red Net Show. Quidditch Association to change its name of sports to distance themselves from J.K. Rowling. From Jessica Wang. Associations devoted to Quidditch, the fictional game popularized by the Harry Potter franchise, are mounting their broomsticks and whizzing away from J.K. Rowling. U.S. Quidditch and Major League Quidditch have begun the process of selecting a new name for the real-life version of the sport in an effort to distance themselves from Rowling, whose comments about the trans community have courted scrutiny over the last year. Mary Kimball, Executive Director of U.S. Quidditch, cites a commitment to inclusivity for the change in a statement issued to EW. Since the sport's founding in 2005, Quidditch has undergone so many transformations. The rules have changed, the team names and jerseys are incredibly creative, fun and professional, and our events look more like a soccer tournament than anything else, Kimball said. I'm proud to stand with our community as we go through another big change, one that allows us to truly live our values as an inclusive, safe sport for athletes of all races and genders. Okay. I have questions. I have a lot of questions. Rowling's comments, coupled with Warner Brothers' constrictive trademark of the word Quidditch, informed the decision. The organization will conduct a series of surveys in the following months to determine a new name for the sport. How? Yes, I understand where they're pissed off because she doesn't like the trans people and she's trans exclusionary. I understand. I don't actually understand, but I understand that politically they're told that they have to be mad about this. I get it. But one of the few movies that I've seen, and I've read the book as well, is Sorcerer's Stone. I've seen Quidditch get played with massive, massive, massive amounts of CG. Because you can't actually fly. I'm so confused. I'm so confused and I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Alright, from The Blaze. Incredible story tells how rescuers found and saved two babies trapped in Midwest tornado debris. From Sarah Taylor. This is from earlier on in the week. Survivors of the 59 tornadoes that tore through the U.S. South and Midwest have spoken out about their harrowing experience that took place earlier this month, telling CBS News anchor Scott Pelley that rescuers discovered a baby who survived amid the wreckage. On the night of December 10th, nearly 60 large tornadoes carved a path of wreckage across 10 states. At least 90 people have died as a result of the extreme storms. In a segment that aired on CBS, Pelley spoke with farmer Sean Rickard, who recalled the moment tornadoes ripped through his western Kentucky home. It sounded like 10 trains on a track coming towards you at full speed, Rickard said, noting that he and his wife evacuated their solid brick home and took refuge at a nearby church. I guess the good Lord told us to leave and we left. He was taking care of us. I can't tell you other than that, I don't know. James Penley said he threw himself on top of his son in order to save him. I knew things were going to start flying, so I decided that if my son needed to be shielded, he recalled, because he's only 20, I'm in my 50s, so I figured two choices here, him or me, and I figured he'd be the one that needs to make it through this. And I've lived life. I've had 35 good years with my wife, and I figured if anyone needed to make it, it was going to be him. Timmy Benoit, an area resident, said he ran to his aunt and uncle's home to see if he could find them. Instead, he found nearly every house in the area of his family's home demolished. It's pitch black, and a few of the deputies and me, we had flashlights, but that didn't help much. Vinoy, who was searching for his family with 2 officers, said that a noise and some movement alerted them to someone or something buried in the debris. We moved all the debris off the shower. We lifted the shower up, and there was a little 15-month-old laying there crying, little boy, he recalled. Alongside deputies Trent Arnold and Troy Blue, Vinoy recovered the child. And over to the side they had a little 3-month-old that he was under all the debris laying on his belly. He said, both babies survived. Thank you. Thank you, God, for keeping both of these little babies safe. And then we go on to the science of all this. Scientist Karen Kosiba told the outlet it's nearly impossible to predict how intense a tornado will ultimately end up being or how long it will endure. We have the Gulf of Mexico, which is an ample source of moisture that helps bring in warm, moist air at low levels, she said. Of the U.S. propensity for Midwest tornadoes, we have the Rocky Mountains, which adds a nice cool layer up at sort of mid-levels, and what that does is what gives you an unstable atmosphere as these systems move through. Certainly we know that our climate is warming, she added, but how that actually manifests itself into tornado outbreaks or tornado intensity or tornado location is difficult to determine. There's a lot of research going on, and there are indications that potentially the tornado threat is moving further east than it normally is, or that it might be occurring later in the year during these cool seasons, so these November, December, January, February. That might be some prolific tornadoes, more prolific tornadoes than previously. But yes, we are glad to see that both of the little babies survived. Alright, and the last one, before we do Bible verse, prayer, and live chat for the day, another little white pill to end the show on. Missing Utah college student found naked, alive in man's basement. Cops say, from Joshua Rhett Miller. A Utah man is in custody after a missing college student was found alive in his home, naked and covered in coal, authorities said. Madeline Allen, a 19-year-old student at Snow College in Ephraim, was reunited with her family after being rescued late Saturday. Some 5 days after she disappeared from her dorm room, Snow College Police Chief Derek Wallach told reporters at a press conference on Sunday. Brent Neil Brown, 39, who allegedly held Allen captive at his Lowell home for days after meeting her online, is facing felony counts of aggravated kidnapping, rape, object rape, and obstruction of justice, KSTU reported. Well, this guy sounds pleasant. We don't have a lot of information about him, Walk told reporters. We don't know how extensive his relationship or her knowledge of him is thus far. Allen, originally from Kaysville, had met Brown in an online chat group and arranged to have him pick her up on December 13th, according to a probable cause affidavit obtained by the Salt Lake Tribune. And that is the home. That's the candlelit vigil during the search because they probably thought that she was deceased. Apparently that's her. That's also her. But the fact that everyone can go home, everyone can be safe, and that she can go back and live an ultimately, unfortunately, traumatized life, but a long life afterward, that is good. We'll say a prayer of thanks for her as well. And before we head out of here, before we do the fun stuff for the day, Quest Fania requested, I sent the picture over to Katie Zed to make sure that she couldn't find any identifying details to dox or show, unless you actually know the place. I decided I'm going to show you guys my pickup because we talked about the $148,000 pickup truck the other day. So I said, I picked mine up for $16,500. And it's been good. I like it. People say it looks nice. I think it looks nice. I think it sounds nicer than it looks, but there it is. That's my pickup. That's all that you need. It's just an XLT. I don't have a Platinum or a King Ranch or anything else like that. It's just an XLT. It's got a nice little chrome package on it that gave me the tubular bars instead of the cheesy plastic steps. And then a little bit nicer radio and a power seat. But other than that, it's just a work truck. It's a working man's truck. I don't need a $150,000 TRX, although the working man's trucks are getting up there too, because they're full framed and they hold their value. But that's mine. I took that last summer. And a nice weird twilight coloring too, so alright. But with that, we are going to, well, we're going to shift gears here a little bit, and remember that it is Christmas Eve right now, so the first thing that I want to do for you guys is I want to take just a second here and remind you of the reason for the season. So, we're going to read from Luke chapter 2 about what we're celebrating today. Yeah, don't remind me. Alright, so we will read from Luke chapter 2. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that the census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was the governor of Syria. And this, just the actual historical side of this, has always been what's fascinated me. I like religion, and I like looking at religion in a secular manner as well. One of the things that I really love to do with that is to look at what was going on in the rest of the world outside the Christian world. So just that line in and of itself has fascinated me since I was a kid, trying to find the actual timeline of this. And I found a lot of YouTube videos on it. And everyone went to his own town to register. So Joseph went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea and Bethlehem to the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him, and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in cloths. She placed him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch at night over their flocks. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people. Today in the town of David a Savior has been born to you. He is Christ, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Suddenly a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory be to the God in the highest, and on earth peace to men on whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found that Mary and Joseph and the baby, who were lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. These shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. And this is what we celebrate. The Word made flesh, man coming down, to experience life as a human. The Lord God, enduring our struggles, going through what we have to go through, in order to take up the cross and take those sins with him into death. Not coming in, not popping in as a 30-year-old, ready to go into his ministry either, although the Lord God could do that in and of himself. He could just snap his fingers, be flesh, as a Middle Eastern man to go and get the message. No. A full childhood, a human birth, the pain, the cries, and the screams. Coming into the world as one of us. We don't know if this is the date of his birthday. There's some evidence for that. There's some evidence against that. But we as Christians, this is why we have Christmas and what we celebrate. So, as you sit down and you open the presents and spend the time with your family, do remember to take the time and thank the Christ for becoming fully human and experiencing the same things we experience. Let's say a prayer for Christmas. Dear God, Merry Christmas. Thank you for the gift that you gave us to the world, the forgiveness of sins, and let us live more into your image. And also thank you for the fortune that you've given onto people in this holiday season. Between the holidays, between the time that we give thanks and the time that we celebrate the birth of your son. A Christmas miracle in northern Wisconsin. 40 to 50 vehicles involved in a fiery crash, and yet nobody seriously hurt. May their recoveries and their financial recoveries come back in, and may they be turned their eyes to you to see the glory that you presented to them on this Christmas miracle. Also, thank you for bringing the 2 babies in Kentucky home, buried under rubble, found by a young boy looking for his aunt and 2 police officers. Thank you for being with them, guiding them, keeping them safe. And may they grow up to be strong and healthy because of this. And also, thank you for bringing this young lady home from Utah in one of the worst situations she's ever been in one of the worst situations a person could be. I know she'll have to live with some trauma for a while, but she lives. She is alive. Reunited with her family, who can support her and help her get through it. Thank you for the blessings that you have bestowed to me over this year. This has been a wonderful year for me. There have been some ups and downs, of course, but this has, for the most part, been a very, very wonderful year. Thank you for the friends who have come and shared this Christmas with me, and I hope that they're blessed with their families as well. And I hope that their families turn their eyes to you as we look towards the holiday season. Thank you for all the gifts, and thank you for the gift of your Son, in whose name we pray. Amen. All right, let's do live chat. So as we usually do on Friday, we will go and check the live chat for what we have going on here. I like the front better. All right, before we do that, well, let's go check on the top and see what we've got here. Good crowd today too, by the way. Fanning, Merry Christmas Eve. Ron Helton, good morning. Jay Fireball Edgar, fellow Ed Heads. Got some plans to be made in the chat, looks like. Let's look back through the week here. On Monday, we had Quest Fanning, Arbolt, Ron Helton, Katie Zed, Random Randy, Shalaga, and MK Ultra were both here. Mazumi and Beam Me Up Mr. Scott. Tuesday was the busy day of the week. We had Random Randy, Katie Zed, Quest Fanning, Ron Helton, McConnell Smuggles Coke, Beam Me Up Mr. Scott, Arvolt, Midget B from the Porch Boys came and joined us briefly. 80s Kid, Shalaga 1984, and MK Ultra. And I saw Mad Cow Mark in here too, by the way, today, who is already Christmas Day for him. Our time traveler from the future, or the international dateline at least. On Wednesday, we had Ron Helton, Random Randy, Ben Wild, Katie Zed, Shalaga 1984, Quest Fanning, Extreme Extremist, and MK Ultra. Yesterday, Ron Helton was here, Quest Fanning was here, Random Randy, Katie Zed, Shalaga 1984, McConnell Smuggles Coke, Arvolt, and MK Ultra. What do we got today? Quest Fanning asking if we've got any fun plans for today. I've got to work, and then I'm going to my dad's house. Let's see, Ron Helton, good morning, Quest. Quest Fanning says, glad everyone came out of this crash safe. Yeah. No, that's incredible. To have that much carnage and that much twisted metal and everybody walk away, that's amazing. Ron Helton's babysitting a family member's pet while they're on vacation, invited to dinner later this evening. Is the pet a chicken? Is it a hen? Does it fit in with the rest of the chickens? Let's see. Well, it says, Brandy, Kate, and I, and my dad and brother, nephew, sister-in-law, sister-in-law's mom, brother, and his fiance. Ooh, that's quite the party. Is that less than 40 people? Don't forget, you can't defy St. Fauci. St. Anthony of Fauci. Katie Z is here on the YouTube side. Ron says, okay, the court will hear it, but are the mandates taking effect now or for others around January 4th? I don't know. It looks like the mandates are going to be taking effect, but there was thought that there wasn't going to be any enforcement until the 10th. So that's what we see for there. MK says, morning, J. Edgar never takes a day off. Never takes a day off. Nope, I do not. I love doing this, though, and I love hanging out with you guys. Good descriptions, yep. What platforms to break down with R-rated conservative views? I don't know if I've seen Wyatt actually stream for quite a while. I know that he's invited back to the network, absolutely. R-rated conservative uses DLive, Twitch, and Rumble. And I believe Odyssey as well. He made the pledge after his hiatus that he wasn't going to use YouTube anymore. And he's a little bit more sporadic. He's not doing a daily show yet. He's not going to do that until he moves. But some things came up and he wasn't able to move as quickly as he thought he was going to, so... but yeah, he gave the finger to YouTube, which, I mean, it's the R-rated conservative. Did you expect him to do anything but give the finger? Seriously? He gave the finger to YouTube and he doesn't use them anymore, which, given the fact that he's on his 4th channel, I'm not surprised. There's a point where you just say, okay, they keep pushing me around, enough is enough. I haven't seen Freckles and Brit stream really often either, by the way. Mostly because of stuff coming up on Fridays, or I have to get up early on Saturdays. Yeah, I have to get up early on Saturdays, I still go. Black Ice at Black Rock. It's Black River, by the way. Not Black Rock. Unless it's somebody buying up all the homes, but that's too rural for Black Rock to come into. I wouldn't be surprised if they were hauling Black Pepper 13 out of 15. Or 13 out of 50. Thank you, Nephilim Ninja. Nephilim Ninja's doing a bunch of pottery. And a ghostly version of Patrick Swayze is going to come up behind him and guide his hands. Katie Zed says yet another reason women shouldn't be cops. 6 women, so many unmade sandwiches. I didn't disavow it. If he'd only find the right thing. Mr. Right got the wrong weapon. I have thoughts on Kim Potter. Negligent, second degree, requires intent. She didn't have intent. Well, if she had intent to kill him, it'd be murder. She did have intent to cause bodily injury, to use the taser. I can see where they could pull second. I don't think they could get first. I don't think they could get that one. I could see where they could get second on the definition of second. With a name like that, she should have been playing with some clay, says Nephilim Ninja. Katie Zed says this George Floyd thing is a total waste of tax dollars. St. George, a criminal within his life. Quest Fanning says, wouldn't a mantis have 6 legs? Yeah, but not one to stand on. In the case of that mantis. Quest says they're afraid of the homeschooling threat too. Talking about voting rights. Property ownership, says Quest Fanning. Katie Zed says, even if someone owns a condo, I'm okay with that. Or should the mortgage owner get the vote? No, that would be the bank, usually. So if you own 5 properties, your house gets 5 votes. have to figure out a way to reduce the influence of big money in government. But what we have to do is figure out what to do about big meat. Can we, as a society, come together to defeat big meat? Can we beat big meat, you guys? Nephilim says even bigger must be better. Katie Z says fake cards. Who would do that? Horrible. Quest can neither confirm nor deny that he's made and distributed about a dozen fake vax cards. Well, you should never ever put out a fake vaccine card. Ever. You should never do that. 80s Kid is here. Says all the scoof started for Papers, Please. That was the plan from the start. Kid says all world governments are in on this coup. Yeah, Mr. Z threatened to quit his job and take half his employees with him if they decided to acquire the jab. Kid says, well done, Mr. Z, good man. Kid says, my daughter told her boss the same thing. If they make the coof jab mandatory, she said she'll gather her things and leave. Well, they're never going to make it mandatory. That's a conspiracy theory. Nephilim says, funny people don't want the clot shot. Hades Kid says, I see these fools wearing the muzzles while driving in their car alone. Neff says, they proved it with time travel. Yeah, thousands of the face leashes in the ocean, killing the animals and the plants and everything else in the ocean. If you ordered one of these cards, it's probably medically important. Mad Cow Mark is here. Christmas Day over there in Australia. Our time traveler, Mad Cow Mark. 80s Kid says, if you Google John Lennon Rolls Royce, it shows his 60s Rolls. Guess what the license plate says? FJB. It says FJB. Nice. Number 2 says Merry Christmas from Katie Z. Thank you. What is the cracker perspective? Katie Z says, I enjoy when people microaggress me. I have a passion for passive aggression. It gives me the green light. That sounds like a rap lyric. Nephilim, that's the virtual insanity we're living in, or they're living in. Beat me up, Mr. Scott is here, says Serenity Now. MK says, Indian dudes for sure. Randy says, since the sport's founding by J.K. Rowling, if I were her, I'd stand by and let them change it, then crush them for it being solely her thing. Apparently you can play Quidditch on the ground. It looks like lacrosse. I don't know. Randy says, kind of sounds like to quell the tornadoes, we should destroy the mountains and use that to fill the Gulf. I got compliments on the pickup. Beam me up, Mr. Scott wants a pickup. 25 grand, I'll sell you that one. Powerful engine. It's just a baseline 5.0. It's chipped, but other than that, I mean, there's no internals or anything changed in it. Randy says, a white guy with a white truck. Picking up a theme here. $100 to fill her up now. Around here, it's actually probably a little bit lower, just because our gas prices came down briefly off of this. But yeah, most of the places limit my debit card at $100, so that's all that I get is $100 into it, and that brings it to just shy of full because it's got a 33-gallon tank. Need those tires shine, but if I shine the tires, then they'll stand out against the flat black rims. Ron says, I paid $264 for 100% gas yesterday. Wow, impressive. Katie Z said it would be quite a coincidence if Jesus was actually born on December 25th. I got some amens in the chat. Katie Z says it was a beautiful prayer. Amen and a woman. Reflections of Liberty is here. Good morning, everyone. God bless. Welcome, Reflections of Liberty. We love hanging out with you too. Thank you. The show starts super early here over on the left coast. Oh, we've got a West Coaster over here. Yeah, it's 5 a.m. Yeah, I had that discussion with Rachel Nix on Monday too, because she lives in somewhere down in Orange County somewhere, as far as I know. And yeah, to get her on the Red Net Show, it's 3:30 in the afternoon at the start of the Red Net Show. And I designed that so for the majority of people who would watch, which would be Central and East Coast time, that would be right when they're getting off work for the most part for the most of them. That's why I picked that time slot. Are you taking days off next week at all? I mean, I'm off of my 40-hour-a-week job all next week, but I'm going to do contemporary every day. It might be late on Monday, but it's going to be there for every day. That big meat rant with Britt and Rachel Monday night was epic. Yeah, that was the point that I lost control. On a related note, Rachel received the hammock that I sent her. Good. Good deal. That's awesome. Weird how Alex Jones has been right on a lot of things and the experts have been wrong, but who got canceled? Chemicals in the water. Frickin' frog scary. Katie Zett says, I saw a Let's Go Brandon billboard in Cartersville, Georgia the other day. Almost turned around to take a photo of it. I have to be out that way in a couple weeks. Maybe I'll do it then. All right. And I think we're done. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. You guys rock. That playlist is epic too. I love jazz and the coffee shop jazz. Let me get the link for the playlist that we did today into the chat for you guys. Really nice one. Of course, the Christmas season is coming to an end, so we're not going to have a lot of use for it anymore after this point because it's not acceptable to have Christmas music outside of the dates of December 1st to December 25th. But let's head out of here. Where's my outro music? You know what? No. We're not doing that one today, because it's Christmas. And we have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas going already. Kind of almost want to back it up a little bit just because, but no, we'll go with it. So thanks everybody who came by and chatted in the live chat with us. Thanks everybody who hung out with each other. Thanks everybody who sat and prayed with me as we prayed for the thankful release of these two kids and the thankful release for this girl in Utah and the safety for all the people on the highway who got caught in that massive tragic accident. I hope that everybody comes out of this very, very well. I hope that everybody's holiday was not ruined. I hope that none of the presents got destroyed. But I hope that these people still have all the family together that they can go and spend their time with here. I will be back here on Monday, possibly late, because I'm supposedly driving 16 hours on Sunday. So possibly it won't be bright and early in the morning as usual here, but regardless, I will be here on Monday because we never skip a day over here on Contemporary. So watch for that, watch for the announcements as we go, and come and join us for more Contemporary then, and throughout next week as well. And I'm going to head off to my little half day of work before I have to go and spend the time with my mom and dad, and we will see you guys next time over on Contemporary. Until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary.